Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today as we discuss creating a proactive age-in-place plan. I deal so often with older adults in crisis. My goal today is to hopefully have you plan and prepare in advance so that you can stay in your home and maintain your independence as long as possible. For those of you that I haven't had a chance to meet yet, my name is Jolyn Hall. I'm the owner of Edmonton 55. I'm an age-in-place and 55 plus housing navigator. I started my career as a registered nurse and a home care case manager. I managed many different senior housing projects, including opened one. And then about 3 years ago, I started Edmonton 55 as a resource to help older adults and their families navigate aging in place and housing choices and transitions so that they can make the best choices for them. So I also got my real estate license, and I'm a real estate agent with Schmidt Realty with a focus on 55 plus transitions. And so I do help buyer and sellers as well. So essentially from A to Z, I'm able to help everyone with their housing choices, whether they're choosing to stay at home, they know they need to make a move to a new home, or they need to sell their last home. So today we're going to talk about a number of elements of creating an age-in-place plan that's perfect for you. So we're going to explore what aging in place really is, where to age in place, how to prepare your home, how to develop a plan, and the keys to successful aging in place. So let's dive in. Aging in place, this is a federal government's definition. Aging in place means having the health and social supports and services you need to live safely and independently in your home or your community for as long as you wish and are able. So in a lot of ways, it's very vague, but there's 3 elements that we're going to talk about out of that today. Aging in place is not saying that they're not going to take me out of here till I'm in a pine box. I hear that phrase about 3 times a week. That's not an age in place plan. It's being stubborn, and it's being in denial about your aging experience. So aging in place is really much more about being proactive, planning, and it's really a mindset. You have to have a mindset to continue planning and adapting to your challenges and changes as you age. And that's what's going to allow you to be successful at aging in place. So aging in place has 3 elements to it: health, social support, and services. And we saw this in the federal government definition. However, when I meet people for an age in place consultation in their home, oftentimes they have 1 or 2 of these elements they've been planning for, but they've neglected a 3rd element, and that's most often social supports. But the reality is you need all 3 items to truly be successful at aging in place. And if your plan doesn't include addressing all these 3 needs, then it will be very difficult for you to succeed at aging in place. So let's dive into each of these 3 sections individually. So when we look at the health section, you need activity, sleep, nutrition, health status, medications, and safety. So let's look at them individually now. Under activity, you need to be able to freely move around your home. This might mean rearranging some furniture so you could walk around with a walker. It may mean doing some renovations so that doorways are a bit wider. But for our activity level, we always have to be able to move. And a big piece of that is having everything on the main floor in your home. So laundry, bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, living room area. Ability to get in and out of your home. So many of our homes are, raised bungalows with 7 steps at the entrance or 4 steps at the back. If you had a walker or wheelchair, or it was really hard to manage stairs, how are you going to manage to get in and out of your home? It greatly affects your independence. It affects your ability to socialize with others. It can really make you a prisoner in your own home. Exercise is so important. If you want to stay independent and healthy and well and avoid nursing home for as long as possible, you must exercise, whether that's walking, whether that's joining a program, whether it's playing a sport, whatever that looks like for you. So that physical activity is so important to our health and well-being. It affects every organ in our body and is so important to aging well. The other thing we want to look at is functional activity. Can you bend over and reach your toes to put on your socks? Can you turn your head both ways so that you can continue to do shoulder checks as you drive? Are you able to reach up so that you can put on clothes as well as get something out of the pantry? Your activity plans should not only include exercise, but how will you stay functionally mobile and keep all those abilities to stretch, reach, step, do stairs for as long as possible. Sleep. Sleep is important as we age. It allows our body to recharge. It allows our body to heal and repair. And so not sleeping well actually greatly affects our health in that we're not able to repair and heal our body. So you need a safe space to sleep in. This is things such as, a bedroom on the main floor, or being able to put a bed in the den or in the living room if you had to come home from surgery. Being able to get in and out of that bed freely. So if your bed is a struggle, that's a possible risk for a fall or other issue down the road. So it's important. Do you need to raise it? Do you need to lower it? Do you need a firmer mattress? What do you need? Do you need grab bars or sask poles to grab onto to help you get in and out of bed? And most illnesses or sudden emergencies happen first thing when we wake up, because basically our body is an engine. There's a lot that goes on to get our body up and going for the day, and that's the highest stress point on all of our body organs. And so having access to a phone, lifeline, emergency call, something that you can access help near where you sleep for when you wake up if you had an emergency. Nutrition is important. We need to be able to safely prepare meals. And if we are past being able to do meals, how can we get that nutrition? What service can we use? Same for grocery shopping. If you didn't have your license, could you grocery shop? Are you within walkable distance? Do you know of delivery options? The biggest mistake I see as we age is not planning for higher protein meals. We need protein to keep our muscles strong. Without protein, our muscles begin to waste and whittle. So I see a lot of older adults do soup and sandwiches for meals because it's easy. And they say they're not hungry because as you eat less, your body stops craving the proteins and just kind of gives up and goes, no, we just need enough to keep the heart and brain going, and we don't need to worry about the muscles. So you need to consistently eat 3 meals. You need to consistently have high protein meals in order to keep your muscles strong and active so that you can be as independent as you want to be. Even if you're not eating a lot, those 3 meals, it's just kind of fuel for the day. It's like driving your car all week, but saying, well, Thursday's the only day I'm going to put gas in it. It doesn't really help you for the rest of the week if the car doesn't have gas in it. Same thing with our 3 meals. Our body needs that fuel all throughout the day, scattered around the clock, not just 1 or 2 meals a day. Our health status, you are in charge of your health. You need to have regular medical follow-ups. You need to be in constant communication with your physicians and medical team. You need to be aware if things are changing. You don't have to diagnose yourself, so please don't leave that to the doctors. But you should be aware that if something's changing, you should go see your doctor. It might be a complication from your medications. It may be a change in your health or a new disease state. But getting that addressed early is going to help you maintain your independence for longer. Know your support system in terms of who you can call on for health assistance, and really just be proactive with your health. Taking your health as utmost priority, because that's really how you're going to maintain your health and wellness to be independent. If your health fails, chances are your ability to remain independent will diminish along with it. Our medications, we need to make sure we're using medications properly. I know many people who get creative going, well, I think I only need 2 of these instead of 3 of these a day. Also proper storage, because if you're taking the medications, you want to make sure you're taking them the right way for you. I've seen many older adults that have medications in dark bottles because they can't be exposed to sunlight. And yet first thing in the morning, they pour it on a plate that sits there so that they remember at supper time to take it. Well, it's been exposed to the sunlight all day. That medication is no longer effective. So you're taking it, but you're actually not getting the benefits from it. So properly store and take care of your medications. Be aware of your side effects and complications, again, so that you can very early address those with your pharmacist or physician if need to, so that they can alter or switch your medication as needed. Again, it's about maintaining your health so that you can maintain your independence. Also find out from your pharmacist as well as other service providers about medication delivery or how you can access help for your medications if you needed to in your home. Safety is a huge piece of our planning as we plan for accessibility in our home. We can't age in place if we can't use our home. So some of the very basic things are looking at 36 inches in your doorways on the interior and exterior of our home. Most of our homes are only a 30 or 32 inch doorway on the inside. So really hard with a walker or wheelchair to ever get around. Make sure that all your main services are on one level, that you have a bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, laundry, and living room on a main floor, so that if you do have an injury or if you're recovering from surgery, you can easily access all those spaces. Even if you like tub baths, still have a walk-in shower in your home you can use in case you have surgery or a sudden illness and getting in and out of the tub is just too hard or too much of a safety risk. Also, make sure you've got access to emergency technology. So a way you can call for help, a panic button, a lifeline alert. If you were to fall or have an issue, have some way, whether it's carrying your cell phone with you all the time, whatever that might be, to easily access emergency help if needed. And access what you can for home safety. We have an Alexa device, there's Google Chrome, Google devices, there's Nest devices, and much more. But we've got to connect it to the lamp in the bedroom so we can say, Alexa, lamp on, and none of us are walking in the dark to the bathroom in the middle of the night. So that home technology is not really designed to make us more lazy as a next generation. It's really designed for those with disabilities and safety needs. So get comfortable and start using that technology. Aging in place, the next element to work on is your social support. So this involves things like hobbies, friends, transportation, and communication. So let's dive into each of those individually. Social support. So everyone needs a passion in life. Whether you're passionate for a certain cause, whether you're passionate to help an organization, whether you're passionate to volunteer, whether you're passionate to swim, whether you're passionate to birdwatch, whether you're passionate to play card games, whatever that is, all of us need something to be passionate about. So take the time to find your passions or rediscover new ones if you need to. We need to keep our mind active, and that's why having hobbies is so important. It gives us something different to do. Our brains are very much like an engine. If we don't have things consistently moving and using them, sits for a while, things stiffen, things get sluggish, things don't work as well. So it's really important we use hobbies and interests and passions to keep our mind active. Learning is our way of paving new pathways in our brain. When we have to learn something new, our brain has to adapt and our brain has to make a new pathway to make things click, to make that new learning stick and make sense. By always learning, you're keeping your brain active, and that's going to help you maintain your independence longer. So always be learning something new, whether it's learning a new technology that the grandkids show you, whether it's learning a different route to your grocery store, whether it's reading something different, but always be learning. It stimulates the mind and it's so important to us. And find joy in life. We know that negative thoughts have 7 times the negative effects on our body. Stress kills, it really does. And so if you're finding that you have changes happening in your life, by all means, do try to find the joy in the situation, because some changes we can't help, some things we can't change. And I always remember my Aunt Vera. She passed away when she was 90, but anytime you walked in a room, you could tell when she was there because she was always laughing. Even when she was in the emergency room with a lot of injuries from a fall, she was still teasing the doctors and finding joy in those worst circumstances. So it's really important that you find a way to find joy in life. It keeps us young. It keeps good hormones running through our body. It helps us stay active, and it helps us adapt and manage those changes rather than going into a really dark place. Friends are really important to our social support. We need to talk to friends every day. If you have family that you talk to every day, that's great, but family isn't the same as friends. We have a very different relationship with peers than we do family. So have a connection to friends, whether that's by phone, technology, talking to a neighbor. If you don't have a lot of friends, if you don't have a lot of connections, even getting out to have conversations with the grocery store clerk, the bank teller, things of that nature can make a big difference. Get out with friends once a week, because it's important for us to get out of our environment, to go somewhere different, to be in a different place rather than our 4 walls all the time. And likewise, it's important to have friends in once a week, because we usually clean up and do things a little bit different, put on different clothes, maybe do our hair differently when somebody's coming in. It just helps us plan better. Excuse me. So you should always try to talk to friends every day, get out once a week, have friends in once a week. And as we age, we often find that our friend network starts to get smaller. It's important to always be making new friends, whether that's at a senior center, your church, talking to and getting to know your neighbors, whatever that may be in a safe way for you. They don't have to be deep friend connections. Even just an acquaintance makes a difference on our mental health. Part of social supports is transportation. And a big piece of this is being true to yourself if you should be driving. Not can you drive, should you drive? Do you have the reflexes? Are you confident to drive to new places? Do you have the shoulder mobility to do shoulder checks? Do you have the good vision to see out? What does that look like for you? Even if you do drive, it's important to practice taking the bus, the LRT, and knowing those systems, so that if you had surgery, if you had a seizure and couldn't drive for a year, you want to be able to access those transportation modes. So practice it when you're healthy and well, because it can be really anxiety inducing to learn it when you're not feeling at your best. And learn about other transportation options, whether it's cab, drive happiness, what places such as church would pick you up and bring you. What are your transportation options if you couldn't drive? Because so much of what we do and our ability to stay independent often relies on our ability to get around. Excuse me. Aging in place social supports, a big piece of that is communication. So using phone, using other technology to stay in contact, whether it's FaceTime, Skype, Zoom. Alexa and Google Homes are really important because those have been designed for people with disabilities and limited ability. Excuse me, too much talking already today. Just give me a second here. We need to always embrace that new technology, because that Google Home and Alexa technology is being designed for people with mobility issues, with disabilities, to make life easier and safer. And so use that, get to know it, embrace it, always try to learn something new. And even if it means having the grandkids teach you technology. So we've talked about health, we've talked about social support, so now let's talk about services. These are services I want everybody to have their favorite providers on the side of their fridge. Because if you are in hospital and are being discharged home in 2 days and can't do housekeeping or groceries, who is going to be the service provider that you call? Who will you call for housekeeping services when you can't do it? Who will you call for meal support, whether it's prepared meals or fresh meals or an in-home meal program? Who will do your lawn and snow care if applicable? What delivery services are available? Will the pharmacy deliver? Will your grocery deliver? Will your veterinarian deliver pet food? What does that look like? Know what services you can get in the home. A lot of people are surprised to know there is in-home x-ray, there is in-home lab services for blood work. There's in-home physiotherapy, in-home optometrists and eyeglass repair, hairdressers, just about anything you can imagine can be mobile and come to your home to provide that service. So know what some of those services are. Know contractors for the basic things like issues with your roof, handyman, plumbing, electrical, because part of being independent in your home is if something happens with your furnace in -40, you need to know who you can call that can confidently fix that or repair it for you. Have a list of your transportation options. Definitely know what's available for home care through Alberta Health Services, but also through private nursing home companies, because home care services only provides a limited amount of service. If you need more care for short-term or long-term, you may have to hire out. So make some of those decisions in advance. And same with medical services. Know if any of your doctors or specialists will do home visits or virtual care calls so that you can fully understand what they can assist you with. By having this list of service providers, it's going to make it easy for you if your circumstances change and you need to access all of them. So I encourage people to read their community newsletters. When a friend recommends somebody, write it down, add it to your list, because it's a lot easier when I go into hospital to see somebody and we need to make plans for them to return home. And they already know, oh yeah, there's a list on the side of my fridge because my daughter knows that I want Meals on Wheels and this is the housekeeping service I want. And this is my contractor that can quickly build a ramp on the front of the house. It makes it so much easier than when you have 2 days before your discharge from home. And not only do you have to research and try and find these companies, but then they may not be available to do things in that short time frame or get it started as quick as you need. It's really nice when you've done that research in advance. And an important piece of that is understanding the costs for these services. Many people want to age in place until they have to start hiring services and realizing how much that can cost. So you may want to also research places you can move that have some of these services included if the costs are getting too much at home. Because if you can't afford these services, then staying at home may not be the best option for you. So where to age in place? So by the federal government definition, aging in place can happen in your home or in your community. And this is the thing that catches most people off guard because they believe to age in place, they must stay in their home. And sometimes home is not the right place. Sometimes home becomes more of a hindrance. So it's about knowing other options in your community that you could move to if home wasn't safe or appropriate anymore. So I've seen many instances where older adults were in their home, it's become a prison, they can't get in or out because of the stairs, they've lost all their social connections, their health has been failing immensely. So the plan gets made to move them to retirement living, everything's accessible, there's meals there, there's housekeeping, and suddenly their health is improving and they're social again and they're getting exercise and they're walking and they can be more independent than they were in their home because now everything's easily accessible to them. And it's like they have a whole new life. So sometimes a move will actually give you more independence than what you can have in your home. If getting groceries and getting out and about to transportation, if you're relying on family or friends or neighbors for all of those things, moving to a different living option may give you more independence. So it's important to realize that aging in place isn't always about one place. It's about being independent as much as you can in that place for as long as you can. So those of us in the sector, including part of the Age Friendly Hub that I'm a part of, we are trying to find a different definition for aging in place, because it's not about the place. It's about the mindset. It's about the attitude to be planning. It's about the attitude of staying as independent as you can for where you are. Aging in place can happen in a nursing home, retirement living, your home, your family's home, pretty much anywhere that you can live. So there's tons of different housing options. It's worth researching what may be options you'd consider. Do you want to just stay at home? Do you need to downsize to a smaller home, an adult bungalow villa, a condo, a senior's apartment, a lodge, supportive living, designated supportive living, retirement living, independent living, assisted living, memory care, nursing home, long-term care, continuing care? There's so many options. In Edmonton and area alone, I have over 300 options. So this can be really overwhelming if you haven't made choices and you can't return home. So do your research on where you would want to age in place next if home wasn't the right option for you. Active aging and aging in place is about adapting. It's being flexible and rolling with the punches, so to speak, in embracing change and making the most positive you can out of that change that you can't control. So another exercise I often do with people as we're planning in their age in place consultation is these 8 scenarios. These 8 scenarios are statistically the reason why most people are forced to leave their home, because they haven't planned for these things. So if you can plan for these 8 things, it makes it a much better chance of you being able to succeed at aging in place at home. So a broken leg or hip is very detrimental, because oftentimes that means a walker or wheelchair, and most homes are not set up for that. A broken arm is just horrible no matter what you do. So it makes everything from meals to going to the bathroom to getting dressed all very complicated, and oftentimes will force somebody to find a different living environment. Using a walker and wheelchair, as we've said, many homes have steps at entrances, aren't set up for it, don't have wide enough doorways. A slow debilitating diseases, things like arthritis, diabetes, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, MS, because although those diseases have a bit of a trajectory that we can plan for, they often have significant sudden complications or changes that can be unexpected. And it's those sudden events that can really kind of throw things into a different situation quite quickly. Loss of driver's license in this city is a big one for forcing people to leave their homes, because we're not often in an area that's walkable to groceries, don't always have the funds to pay for taxis or delivery services all the time. So this one really does put a lot of issues in people's plans. And I work with a lot of people to find the right home to live in that is in a great community that can be walkable if they did lose their license. Decreased vision is so hard to manage once we've lost our vision. So a lot of times for those that are expecting vision changes or have a degenerative eye condition, we're usually trying to find them the right accessible housing before they completely lose that vision. You know how you can walk around your home in the pitch black at night and not stub your toe on anything? That's because we use our vision to make a map in our brain, and our brain actually uses that blueprint quite a bit. And so when we lose vision and then we're moved to a new environment, we lost that ability to create a map, and it makes it very stressful and hard for our body to adapt. And so with decreased vision, we really want to do a lot of advanced planning. Death of a spouse or caregiver often forces the remaining one to move, because many couples are kind of interdependent. He does finances, she does cooking, he does lawn care, she does, the grocery shopping. And once they lose that other half, or that caregiver that they rely on for so many things, there's no plan for the services to take up what that person was doing. So they get thrown into this state of confusion very quickly and easily. So the death of a spouse or a significant caregiver can definitely make the home not a safe environment for a person to live anymore. So preparing for these 8 scenarios can be really beneficial in helping your plans. So as you start to create your age in place plan, a big portion of that is starting at home where you live. Can your current home meet your current needs? Is there anything that doesn't work? Can you already not get in and out of the front door? Is a walker not going to fit? Are you already struggling with meals and things like that? Then maybe it's time to be making a shift. Maybe that's not the best place to age in place in if you're already seeing concerns. And if they're not immediate concerns, how long will your home be able to work? So I've worked with a lovely couple that wanted to age in place at home. So we started the planning process. And as I took out my tape measure, all their doorways in their home were 24 inches in this beautiful pre-war home. I'm wider than 24 inches, so I had to turn sideways to get into the kitchens, the bathrooms, the bedrooms. There was just no way they could live there if they ever needed a walker. So their age in place plan now stipulates that if one of them starts seeing some changes in mobility, they need to make a move before they need a walker or a wheelchair, because they've done a lot to set up their home for aging well, but the one thing they can't do is widen the doorways. They had a estimate done because of the support beams. It's over an $80,000 renovation, and they're just not willing to put that into their home. So they know the limitations of when that home won't work for them any longer, and they have the plan for where they'll move to. Know your monthly and yearly costs. And that's because when I'm often called into hospital to help people make sudden transitions, one of the early questions I have is, what can you afford? You need to know, even if you're not paying mortgage, you still have utility costs, insurance costs, car costs. What are you paying for any services coming into the home right now? Because I need you to be able to say, well, I've got about $2,500 in costs a month right now, but in speaking with my financial advisor, I'm good to spend up to about $2,800 a month. That makes it easy for me to very quickly get you pointed in the right directions to be looking at. If you don't know those numbers, we're spending a lot of time trying to gather those numbers, figure it out, because until we know your budget, it's hard to make any commitments for different housing options or different services. Can you afford to bring in meals? So know your monthly and yearly costs, know the value of your home so that if you ever had to sell it, you know what that equity is at this point in time you could get out of it. So have a real estate agent every year or 2 years help you figure out the value of your home. Do not use your property tax assessments, please. Know what services you can access in your community. Pay attention to the newsletters, pay attention to friend recommendations, write them down. At least you have some numbers to call if you have to. Know your support system for family and friends. My mother doesn't drive, so if my dad's having a medical procedure and needs to be driven home, she knows I need about a week's notice so that I can fit it into my schedule. If they need something tomorrow, they know which transportation services they can rely on, because they're not going to be able to get me on that short notice. So understand the availability for your support system and have plans for when that support system is not available. And always understand the limitations. This is the hardest piece to look at because you can't do it all. And to succeed at aging in place, you will need a team. There is no older adult that's made it to 100 in their house without some help. And so understand your limitations and access help from professionals, your support system, as soon as you need it. When I do an age in place assessment, I look at over 150 elements of your home to make sure that they're set up for you to help you be as independent as possible for as long as possible. So when we go back to look at this definition of aging in place, the real key to success is this phrase: you need to be safe and independent as long as you are able. So it doesn't matter how stubborn you want to be. If you're not able to be independent, then you're not safe to stay there. If you can be independent with some helps and supports, and you have all those right helps and supports coming to your home, then aging in place in your home may still be possible. But you have to be safe and independent as much as you can. And the things you cannot do for yourself, you need to have other services in place to take care of them. So this planning is really about staying in control of your aging journey. If you want to avoid nursing home, if you want to stay in control of your aging journey, then you need to make it a plan for the 3 elements of aging in place: health, social support, and services. You need to make a plan for managing 8 possible scenarios that might force you from your home. And you need to be actively embracing aging and change and be involved in doing what you can to stay as independent as possible for as long as possible. I know we've covered a lot of information today. On the Edmonton 55 website, there's lots of resources and articles to help you. There's event calendars and different education opportunity, and lots of resources and businesses you can find as well. I have a couple upcoming presentations: how to make your home stand out when selling on Tuesday, March 9th, Understanding Alberta Health Services Supportive Living Program, Friday, March 19th. You can sign up for them and any of my other presentations at edmonton55.com/upcoming-presentations. I do host a downsizing challenge that you can join at any time. It's a once a week email that helps you focus room and space by space in your home. Takes 6 months to complete with the once a week challenge. Lots of resources for donating items, ways of tackling your rooms, and video tips from experts along the way, but all designed to help you age in place in your home better, or prepare for a move, whichever is your circumstance. But that downsizing challenge, we all have to do it, even if you want to age in place at home. It's best to kind of get rid of the clutter and stuff so that you can age well, easily, and with everything in its rightful place. So you can join at no charge, edmonton55.com/downsizing-challenge. You can become a VIP active ager with my monthly newsletter. You'll get access to recordings of previous seminars, access to exclusive worksheets. And I am working on an aging in place planning workbook. It's a very big project. It's not happening as quickly as I'd like, but I'm hoping in 2021 I can get that out, and it will be announced first to my newsletter subscribers. So you can join at edmonton55.com/VIP. I do offer a number of consultation services to help you with your journey, whether a stay-at-home consultation for those that want to work on an age-in-place plan. We'll work on that together and get you pointed in the right direction. A get moving consultation is for those that know home isn't the right place to age in place, so we find the next best housing option that will hopefully minimize the number of moves you need to do in the future. And I do assist with real estate for both buyers and sellers, specializing in the 55 plus market. So I'll leave this up here for a moment with all of my contact information. You can feel free to call or email with any questions you have. And I do offer a free complimentary half-hour consultation to learn about your specific circumstances and help you decide if one of my services can be of further benefit to you. But I hope today has given you a lot to think about in terms of starting to create your age in place plan, how you can be proactive to maintain your independence and stay in your home or where you live as long as possible. I thank you for joining me today, and I hope this has been really helpful to you.